Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm painting snowdrops. It's the first flower of spring in southeast England where I come from. I've made a little sketch and let's get going. I have a slightly different palette of acrylics. I have titanium white, cad yellow light, raw sienna, burnt sienna, cobalt blue, ultramarine blue and hooker's green. I ran out of raw umber, so I substituted burnt sienna, and I don't have any sap green, so I'm using hooker's green, and it's a nice green for foliage anyway. So, and I'm working on Archer's hot press. Hot press is a paper that is very smooth. Think of it as being pressed with an iron, and I just ran out of a canvas, so today I'm painting on paper, and you can do that with acrylics. It works really well. The other thing is I'm going to put in my background. I'll show you a tiny bit of that, but the main painting is the snowdrops. Where I come from in the south of England, snowdrops are the first flower that we see in February, and the ground might be quite frosty. But the snowdrops always come up first before the crocus. I've skipped through the painting of the background, the tree trunk and the sky. I'll show you tree trunks another time, and you can see sky in a lot of my other videos. So really it's just the snowdrops in this one. I'm going to do a sky first. I'm going to start off with some raw sienna for the tree. Mix in cad yellow light with hooker's green, dash of raw sienna and titanium white, and I'm going to put in, it's a bit bright, some grass. We're using a mid-tone green, and I'm going to put in the stems and the leaves first, and I'll also add the lights and the darks. I'm mixing hooker's green with cad yellow light, and I'll use ultramarine blue for the darks mixed with hooker's green, and I'm getting all those in first because basically the snowdrops are white. They call them tepals. They're undifferentiated petals and sepals called tepals, and I'll be doing those last since they're so snowy white. I really will do hardly any shading, just the inner tepals will be darker. I'll do those in a sort of blue. I hope that makes sense to you. Maybe that's tepals. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I call it tepals because of sepals, but it could be tepals, couldn't it? I know it doesn't show up well at the moment, but as I go along and add lights and darks, the stems and leaves will stand out a little better. That's my dog you can hear in the background, Tommy. He's got his chew toy, and he gets a bit enthusiastic with it, so nothing I can do about that. It keeps him away from what I'm trying to do. Snowdrops have these very fine spear-like leaves. Basal linear, I think is what they call them. I don't know, but they remind me of daffodil leaves too. They're a bit the same, aren't they? They're tall, thin spears that you fold over and tie and let them die off. And I don't think you do that with snowdrops, but it's a similar kind of thing anyway. I'm no gardener, but I do know that both daffodils and snowdrops and tulips actually come from bulbs that you plant in the fall. I once planted daffodils all down a driveway, so I do know that anyway. So I'm going to paint the inner tepals or tepals first. They have 3 inner and then 3 larger outer tepals or tepals. Tommy, what are you doing over there? Now I'm going to put on the 3 outer petals, tepals on each one, on each flower. I think I'm going to have a couple of buds, maybe one here and one here. I don't see those as quite finished, but one thing I notice is the narrowness of the tree makes, oh Tommy, really? The narrowness of the tree makes the snowdrops look like a bigger flower, a bigger plant than it actually is. It's really usually only about 5 or 6 inches high. So you can see that this looks like it's 2 or 3 feet high. And proportion is everything, isn't it, in painting? And I often don't get that right first time round, so I'm going to correct that by adding more tree. And I'll start off with, Tommy, stop it. Start off with more raw sienna, and I can always get the leaves back. So I'm not worried if I cover anything up. But we have to have that width in the trunk in order to get the proportions right. I'm just going to not worry about it, just work on it. That's beginning to look a little better. I think that looks a little better. I think that's looking better. I'm going to darken. I'm going to darken down here. I'm just getting more colour into my tree. I don't think all of it's going to stay, but I like colour to peep through. And so you have to put it on there for that to happen. I'm going to add some alizarin crimson to my palette. I forgot to put that on there. And that mixed with cad yellow light and some raw sienna will give me some nice sort of oranges to bring out some of the tree as well. I wish I had some raw umber, but I don't have. I'm mixing burnt sienna and ultramarine blue for my darkest darks. So we put some of those in there too. I think that's slightly better. I don't say it's the best tree I've ever painted. I think that's okay. I'm going away to think about it. So that's how I paint snowdrops. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give me a thumbs up if you did and hit the subscribe button to see more. Thank you very much for watching.